In this video, I'm going to show you how to fold a carambola designed by Carmen Sprung. It's a beautiful origami model, which incidentally I already made a video on with German instructions, but this video shows a slightly different folding sequence. We're going to be using a sheet of paper. This is a square that we'll cut to a pentagon with a side length of 15 centimeters by 15 centimeters or 6 inches by 6 inches. And the model will then have a diameter, that's the distance between such a point and an edge that is implied by that point, the connection of these 2 points. That distance is going to be depending on how much you open or close the model. It's going to be about 7 to 8 centimeters or 2 3/4 of an inch to 3 1/8 of an inch. So, as mentioned, we first need to cut a pentagon, so let's get started with that. I'm just going to flip this model, the paper over and fold in half. And then, if you look at this, there you've got 2 squares, and we're going to mark the center of one of the squares. So for that, I'm first going to take just the top edge and crease just around where I think that intersection that I want to form to get the center. And then to get an intersection, we're going to just take this edge and again make a pinch mark, and this time you already have a small pinch mark so you exactly know where to push. And there you have your intersection. Now it's really important that now you take the corner, the bottom corner of the closed edge. So you can see here on the left it's open, on the right it's closed. And I'm going to bring that point to exactly that intersection and crease. Then I'm going to take that edge, fold it to the other edge, then take this lower edge, fold it right to where that edge lies flat. Then flip over and fold edge to edge. Now you will cut right along this edge right here, which is the lowest one. And you can use scissors or a cutting knife, whatever you prefer. I'm just going to use scissors right here and try to cut quite precisely here and very straight. And then you can discard this and you've got a nice regular pentagon. Now to fold the carambola, we are first going to invert all of the creases so that they have no particular direction. So first I'm going to fold them all in valley folds. It's the first one, the second one, and the third one, and the fourth, and the fifth. And then flip over so that you see the white side, and again go around making valley folds, so then the creases don't really have a particular direction anymore, and they're also much stronger. And one more. There we go. Now for a carambola that is colored in the inside and white on the outside, we're going to continue with the color side up and take this edge and bring it to that crease, and the crease you form doesn't go all the way through but only up to that crease that goes to the center of this edge. So take the edge, align it with the crease, and then crease, unfold, and then do that on each of the corners. Then do the same thing just on the other side, taking this edge, aligning it with a crease that's to the right rather than to the left. and crease. So on each of the corners you will have formed such creases. Next we want to make creases that go between two such points that we created, one here and one here, for example. And one way of doing this is you fold up two of the creases we just created, and then you have kind of those points in place, and you can unfold and they will fall into place nicely. And unfold. As you can see, I only creased between this point and that point and no farther out. This is quite important so that you get a beautiful model in the end, because you don't really want any creases on this section. And then you go around. You can also just try to eyeball where to get the creases. But if you're a bit less certain, you can always check the location of the creases by folding these 2 points in and then kind of making 2 small pinches so that the crease gets started quite nicely. And you can always also check that when you have a point, that this top point here will lie on the crease so that you get a nice horizontal crease. Now you formed a pentagon in the center. Now flip the model over and you will see that this pentagon has 5 points right here, and we want to put a crease right through that point, which is horizontal and which doesn't go any farther than these creases that go through the points from the beginning, from when we cut the pentagon. So pinch and then align this crease line with itself so that you get a nice horizontal crease, and then crease just between those 2 points. So when you unfold, you can see that you just folded between 2 such creases that go through the diagonal. And you continue with the other points. Then you can flip the model over, and now we're going to form a lemon squeezer in some ways. So we're going to pinch one of these creases that start in a corner, and probably this triangle will already pop up. Now you can see this point goes to the bottom, goes down, and this one goes up. So you want all of them to go down, so you may have to push it in. So just showing you again, even if both sides point upwards, you just press on the point to make it pop down. And then you can collapse this like this, and to strengthen the crease that's right here, you can push in the back on that crease so that it pops up in a mountain fold, and then you can really press it together completely. And then you go around once. Now we need to add another small pentagon, creases that go between these points basically, and for that I'm just going to take one of these sides, pull them apart, and then push on this point. And then again on the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Just putting one of my fingers right on that point and my thumb on the other, so that's the center point, and then kind of pushing that paper together with one hand and pushing it out to make a pentagon appear in the center. Now you can make these creases stronger by pinching them, or actually if you're folding with quite small paper, it's probably going to be quite difficult. So you can also skip that step of really pinching them into place like I did right here, and just try to get that shape to look like this. And then you're going to push with one finger in the center, while with the other hand going again along this mountain fold to push together, and kind of pushing on that crease you've got right there, having two fingers here and pushing together, and doing that all the way around. Like this, you're forming a small star shape, and also adding the creases that you could pinch in place. It's not going to be quite as accurate, I guess, but I think it's, especially with smaller paper, the easier method of getting that star in the center into place. Now there's just one final step, believe it or not, and that's to get these creases right here, you can see these, popped inside. And it's quite important that they start right in the bottom point. And when you use a bit heavier paper, this may actually be a bit easier because it's really going to flip into place. But it works quite well here too, you can already see here. And you just push on the crease, as you can see here, until it flips inside. Push on the crease until it flips inside. Push on the crease until it flips inside, and one final time. And then your Carambola, designed by Carmen Sprung, is all done. Now, one finishing touch you may want to do, but you might also want to skip, is to slightly tilt these tips. So for that, I push them together and then push to the side that my thumb is. And that has two effects. It curls it a bit, in this case clockwise, and it also makes a slightly larger dent from my thumb on this side than on this side from my index finger. And that's an effect I quite like. And you can go around once, and then this has, in my opinion, a slightly softer feel. I hope you enjoyed this model by Carmen Sprung, and happy folding!